Real quick, I wanted to give a little more detail on my monthly breakdown on how I'm introducing heavier kettlebells into my training. A video a couple weeks ago, I just kind of gave you a really basic overview of the program and how I'm doing things. So this is a little bit more detailed. Month one, everything is 24 kilos. That's single lifts, double lifts, everything. Everything is 24 kilos. I want to keep that as my foundational work just to kind of get my body primed and ready to go. Everything is 3 to 5 sets at 5 reps. So week 1, I'm doing 3 sets. Week 2, I'm doing 4 sets. Week 3, I'm doing 5 sets. I can interchange that depending on how I'm feeling, how much time I have, but that's basically how I break down the first 3 weeks. And then my last week, I use it as a deload week just because I want to save my hands and not get them chewed up too badly, because if you start chewing up your hands too much, it really alters your training and alters your mechanics. So I want to get the kettlebells out of my hand. I'm doing a deload week with just barbell work. That would be bench. That would be leg extensions, just basic gym work that I like to do, but just to get the barbells into my hands and the kettlebells out of my hands so I'm a little more comfortable. Month 2 is where we start getting really interesting and start introducing the 28 kilos. Month 2 is where I start to introduce the 28 kilograms in my training. I am upping the volume a little bit. So 4 to 5 sets at 5 reps. Now, the reason I'm doing that is for all my double lifts, that's where I'm going to start introducing the 28 kilos. My first 2 sets, 1 to 2 sets, so set 1, set 2 will be at 28 kilos, and then I'll close out the rest of the exercises with the 24 kilos. I want to introduce my body into it. I also want to do it when I'm fresh. Some of the single work, like the get up or the single press, I'll start to introduce the 28 kilos a little bit, maybe depending on how I'm feeling, but I want a majority of my work, which is the double lifts, to really start doing that 28 kilos. And then the rest of the week, just kind of making sure I'm comfortable and keeping that groove really going. So I'll probably do majority 24 kilos and start introducing the 28 kilos in the double lifts. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. As you can see here, it's a quick overview of my days. I do push-ups and pull-ups after each one of these days, just to do push-ups and pull-ups because I like them. Day 4, I might not do it depending on how I'm feeling, the push-ups and pull-ups, but I certainly get my kettlebell work in. So by introducing the 28 kilos, this is how I'm going to do it. So day 1 with the get-up press and the windmill, chances are I'll probably stay at that 24 kilos. If I'm feeling good, I'll do 1 set at the 28 kilos with the get-ups, or maybe 1 set with the windmill or 1 set with the press. But the majority of my 4 to 5 sets is going to be with just the 24 kilos. This is where I start introducing the 28 kilos. So my first 2 sets would be with 28 kilos, and then I'll close out with the 24 kilos. So that would be the swing, the clean, and the push press. Right? So it just depends on how I feel. 1 to 2 sets. It really doesn't matter. I don't want to set myself like I have to do 2. And that's the same with day 3. The double snatch is a little bit different because testing weight for me is at 20 kilos. It's a bell size down. So it's at 20 kilos. So here I would probably introduce maybe 1, maybe 2 sets at the 24 kilos and then go back down to the 20 kilos. But that's the double snatch is just a little bit different, but the same principle applies. I'm doing 1 or 2 sets heavier than what my test weight is or what I did previously, and then drop back down. And then the double jerk, once again, 1 to 2 sets of the 28 kilos. Day 4 is a little bit different once again, because I am doing a lot of single work. If I feel up to it, I'll do some more get-ups, maybe do 1 set of the 28 kilos. The bent press, the same thing. I'll probably stay at 24 kilos. I can do heavier in a lot of this stuff, but I really just want to ease myself into it. So that way I'm not getting injured or chewing up my hands or anything like that. And the single snatch, once again, in month 2, I am doing 10 by 10s. I want to keep that as condensed as possible. I want to make sure I try to get that in a good, timely fashion. I don't want to take an hour to do 100 snatches. I want to get it at least in about the 10-minute mark, plus or minus, nothing too major, how I'm feeling. Maybe, just maybe, I'll start doing 1 set with the 28 kilo and then closing out with the 24 kilos. But really, this is just to keep my conditioning up for the snatch test, which is 100 in 5 minutes. So I'm not necessarily too worried about getting all the way up to 32 kilos with that, but that would be nice. But maybe I'll start introducing the 28 kilos on day 4. But really, I'm introducing all my double work with the 28 kilos on day 2 and day 3.